Hello and welcome to News Central Television with me, Blessings Musugu. The top stories at this hour. Police arrest 3 suspects with 129 billion naira fake currencies in Kano. Nigeria's Ademola Adeyemi-Bero emerges chairman of OPEC Board of Governors. Dozens of Ghana president-elect supporters arrested in post-election violence. We've got the details in a moment. We begin the news in Kano State, where the Nigeria Police Force, NPF, says its operatives have seized fake currencies worth 129 billion naira. Addressing journalists on Tuesday, Muyiwa Adejobi, Force spokesperson, said 3 suspects were arrested in connection with the fake currencies. Adejobi identified the suspects as Noura Ibrahim, Mohammed Muntari, and Usman Abdullahi. A breakdown of the recovery shows a total of 3,366,000 in counterfeit US dollars, 51,970 in counterfeit CFA francs, and 1,443,000 in counterfeit naira. In a related development, Adejobi said police operatives also arrested 3 suspected gun runners along the Kaduna-Kano Expressway.
There was a football match in Sani Abacha Stadium, and after the match, there was clashes among the youth of Kofar Mata and Zage quarters and neighboring areas. This fight is not directly linked with Daba, but a rivalry between these groups, which led to the deaths of 2. Whereas there was resurfacing of fights as a result of these deaths of these 2 from one side, which as a result, a large number of these youth turn out for reprisal attack. The command immediately mobilized teams of policemen to the scene, and of course, the Commissioner of Police of the state, CP Salman Dogo Garba, was at the scene on assessment. And after assessing the situation, adequate security deployments were done to avert any future occurrence, as well as continuous engagements with stakeholders. The engagement started yesterday with meeting with all the stakeholders of all matter, and it continues today. We are in all effort trying to make the state very peaceful, and this killing will not be left unturned. The perpetrators will be arrested and brought to book.
Now, embattled human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi's request to enjoy early bail was dashed on Tuesday as an Ekiti magistrate shifted hearing on the application until December 20. Farotimi is standing trial on an amended 14-count defamation suit brought before the court by a senior advocate of Nigeria, Afe Babalola. Meanwhile, Dele Farotimi pleaded not guilty to the charges. News Central's Igbalani Omoni reports.
Farotimi was brought to the magistrate court on Tuesday morning by operatives of the Rapid Response Squad of the Nigerian Police and officials of the Nigerian Correctional Service. The human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi pleaded not guilty to the amended 14 charges leveled against him. The charges stem from a defamation suit filed by Afe Babalola SAN over allegations made in Farotimi's book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System. The court's proceedings were marked by a dramatic turn of events, including a legal showdown between counsel to Afe Babalola, Taiwo Adeni, and Farotimi's counsel Adeyinka Olumide Fusika, a senior advocate of Nigeria. Latter's appearance was initially objected to by the prosecuting team, citing rules that prohibit senior advocates of Nigeria from appearing in magistrate courts. Despite the objections, the court allowed the proceedings to continue. Farotimi's defense team submitted a preliminary objection, urging the court to dismiss the suit on grounds that a charge is legally invalid and non-existent. The court has reserved its ruling and adjourned the bail application to Friday, December 20, 2024. This means Farotimi will remain in custody for another 10 days, sparking widespread concern and call for his release.
has already made a pronouncement of bail. It is expected that that particular bail should have been granted to him at the magistrate court. This was actually what His Excellency Peter Gregory Obi, who was exploring all options to make sure that this particular case has been put to rest. You remember that he tried as much as possible to reach out to major persons than to be given this particular bail, so that the issues can be trashed in the position of court later. As Democrats and respecters of the law, we will respect the position of the case and at the same time present ourselves in the court of law at the next proceedings. But it is expected that this particular case is a bailable offence, especially in the magistrate court, so that we can be given a bail, so that we will not escalate this particular matter unnecessarily.
Thereafter, a mild drama ensued between the supporters of Afe Babalola and Dele Farotimi outside the court.
On behalf of myself, I'm speaking as a citizen of this Ekiti township, all right, as an indigenous of this community. Nobody can destabilize the peace of our state. We know they are rented talks. We know they are hired to do this. But no amount of street wailing, no amount of internet attack can make group of underdogs to subdue the right of our father.
In a country where there is law and order, all the things that were written in the book by Mr. Dele Farotimi is the things that are playing out in this course. I've been here personally. I was here when another charge was served, again in the prison, and again and again and again. Nobody is above the law. If this is a civil case, why is it happening like this? Why is this happening? You are telling us that the government is under one man, which is the same man that is in question. Yes. And you're saying that the same book we are condemning now, and the things here, what is happening in this court? I listen to both parties, and it is not justifiable that something like this happened in the world, under the watch of Nigerians. This is going to create a revolution, and we're not going to sit back around it.
The original charge was amended, and the new charge was read to the defendant. And thereafter, the application for bail was argued. So, and the ruling adjourned to 28th of December this year. So that is the proceeding in the court today in summary.
The case has sparked widespread interest, with many Nigerians closely following the development. In Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State, for News Central, I am Igbalani Omoni.
That was our correspondent giving an update on the alleged defamation case against human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi. However, Dele Farotimi's troubles may just be piling up, as Kende Ogunwumiju, managing partner of Afe Babalola & Co., has also sued the human rights activist for alleged false and defamatory statements in his book that has been in the eye of a storm, Nigeria and its criminal justice system. In the suit filed on the 6th of December, the senior advocate of Nigeria asked the court to stop the publication and sale of the book at all physical and online bookstores. Ogunwumiju is asking for 500 million naira in damages. Ogunwumiju also asked the court for an order for the seizure of the copies of the book wherever they may be found, adding that Farotimi should also apologize in 2 national newspapers. Last Tuesday, Farotimi was arrested by the Ekiti Police Command over alleged defamation and cyberbullying. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has appointed Ademola Adeyemi-Bero as the chairman of its Board of Governors for 2025. Adeyemi-Bero was also appointed as Nigeria's OPEC governor for next year. Heineken Lokpobiri, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, said Adeyemi-Bero's appointment was confirmed at the 189th meeting of the OPEC conference. In a statement by his media aide, Nemeka Okafor, the minister hailed Adeyemi-Bero's elevation as a testament to Nigeria's active contributions to the global oil industry. Lokpobiri added that the appointment provides Nigeria with a vital platform to advocate balanced energy policies that benefit oil producers, consumers, and the global economy. The immediate past deputy president of the Senate, Senator Ovie Omoagege, has berated successive PDP-led governments in Delta State, saying that there has not been serious governance in the state since Chief James Ibori left office in 2007. Omoagege decried the underdevelopment of the oil-rich Niger Delta State, despite the huge revenue that has accrued from the Federation account as a result of 13% derivation and internally generated revenue, which he said has not been translated to the infrastructural and economic development of the state. The Delta APC leader stated this on Tuesday at Ogara, Ethiopia West local government area of the state, where he officially welcomed Heineken Lokpobiri Sueno and her supporters, including former top PDP leaders who defected to the APC. News Central's correspondent Austin Azu, who was there, now reports.
State South Nigeria, often be referred to as the political mecca of Delta politics, is agog as APC national leaders and states all converged on the Ogara Township Stadium to welcome Heineken Lokpobiri Sueno, member representing Ethiopia Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, who defected alongside her supporters, including former top PDP leaders from the PDP to APC of the ruling party in Nigeria. First, the APC state acting chairman welcomes her into the party with the party's symbols.
With the people that have debated with you today, on behalf of the party, I receive all of you to the party. I receive you by giving you the symbol of our party, the group.
Lokpobiri Sueno, who spoke alongside other DCMPs, said they have found light in APC.
They tried to dull my shine. They tried to oppress me. I'm the daughter of a lion. Nobody can oppress me. Nobody can push me down. Nobody can hold me. Nobody. They don't have done them. The whole of Ethiopia Federal, my leader, I can tell you, is APC now.
The immediate past Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Ovie Omo-Agege, who represented the APC National Chairman, welcomed her into the party. Thereafter, took a sweep at the performance of the State Governor, Sheriff Oborewori, since he assumed office 2023.
In the last 1 year and a half, Delta State, by way of fact, we have received 750 billion. 1.5 years only. 1.5 years only, 750 billion. In the same period, we have also generated 150 billion in IGR. Altogether, almost 900 billion naira. When I look around, I see anything like 900 billion. No!
Patrick Umo, who led the 38 House of Reps members on behalf of the Speaker, eulogized Heineken Lokpobiri Sueno's political dexterity and what her constituents stand to benefit in the days ahead.
I'm here to declare that the APC has come alive in this federal constituency, and that come the next election, the APC will register total victory in Delta State.
Attention thereafter shifted to the empowerment program where Heineken Lokpobiri Sueno empowered her constituents with cars, tricycles, motorcycles, sewing machines, cash, among other items, to cushion the impact of the country's economic challenges.
I say to my people, I will do all I can to make sure that I bring the dividend of democracy to them, that I bring any development, infrastructural development to them, and that no matter what, I will give everything humanly possible to move mountains for them.
Some of the beneficiaries who expressed deep gratitude to their benefactor revealed how they intend to utilize what has been given to them.
Sewing machine, if I reach outside, I go copper and fridge, then I go use them.
Sewing machine, and I'm going to use it to boost my business as a fashion designer. So thanks to Right Honorable Heineken Lokpobiri Sueno.
They give me keke, one use and take do transport.
Highlight of the event was the inauguration of Heineken Lokpobiri Sueno Grassroots Network to begin APC political evangelism across Ethiopia Federal Constituency and beyond, ahead of 2027 general elections. In Ogara, for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
It's time to go on a short break now, and when we come back, we'll tell you that the German President Steinmeier arrives in Abuja on start of a 3-day visit. Stay with us. Still live with us on News Central now. Many thanks for staying tuned. Now, two more stories. German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier has arrived Abuja. The German president touched down on Tuesday night and was received at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. Steinmeier, whose visit to Nigeria is scheduled to span through to December 12, 2024, is expected to engage in a series of activities such as a meeting with President Bola Tinubu, as well as the President of the Commission of Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, Aliyu Omar Toure, amongst others. The German president will later proceed to Lagos, where he will engage with business representatives, visit a startup hub, and meet with members of Nigeria's cultural sector and civil society, including Dr. Nike Okundai and Professor Wole Soyinka. Now, members of the Southern Caucus in Nigeria's House of Representatives have expressed their support for the proposed tax reform bill, emphasizing their willingness to engage in dialogue to improve the nation's tax laws. Speaking to newsmen in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, the chairman of the caucus, Nicholas Mutu, says that their endorsement of the bill follows a thorough review of the proposed legislation and its expected positive impact on citizens.
The Southern Caucus in the House of Representatives have met and we welcome the bill, and that we are open to dialogue.
As we process it, inputs are made from our various states and constituencies. Some states have already received those inputs. And so we are in consonance with our constituents and the states that we represent. And so we are ready to work to ensure that we give a better tax law to Nigeria. That's what we are interested in. It's not to play to the gallery.
The 13% that is being gotten by oil producing states started with 50%. Recently we did the PIB. We had issue with the host community bill as well. So there's negotiation back and forth. At the end of the day, Nigerians will be better for it. Yes. Negotiation is an art. We'll sit down, go back and forth, exchange, make them see reason, we see reason, and we all ensure that this matter comes to a logical end. That will be in the interest.
We're now joined by Chief Peter Ame, a public policy analyst in Abuja. Chief Ame, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, Peter Ame, it's difficult to recall any bill that has in recent history been so bitterly contested nationally at the risk of geopolitical stability in Nigeria. Why exactly is this the case this time around?
Because this has to do with the survival of the state. It has to do with how revenue is shared. And, you know, most of the states are actually they are not innovative, they are not creative, and they are not generating enough resources to be self-sustaining and to survive on their own without this federal allocation, this fact, you know, monthly revenue sharing formula that has been existing that I call a feeding bottle federalism. So that is why this has also brought a lot of interest, because if you look at what the current tax bill will do, one, it will change the percentage of population to 20%. Percentage sharing for equity will be 20%, and for derivation will now be 60%. So it is what you contribute now that will now determine how much resources that you will now get, from the federation account. The tax is naturally necessary in every country. But the fact that the only issue that some people have with it is the fact that you can't, do too many reforms at once, especially when it has to do with the life of the citizens. When you talk about you were able to do reform on tariff on electricity. You brought the issue of fuel subsidy, and a lot of other reforms that actually made life very difficult for the ordinary citizens. So a lot of people are looking at it. Can we space it? Can we give it gap so that people can cope with the current challenge that they are facing? But what the government is looking at is to be able to now look at the bill that what we have as a tax law is over 100 years old. And that no country who is willing to invest, looking for investors to come, looking for be able to expand the process of economic development and revolution, will be able to sustain itself through very archaic law that no longer serve the purpose of the reform. So what we are talking about, we are not looking at the North. It's saying in this new tax reform bill, it's also said that the North will not, the agricultural product will not be taxed at all. That those citizens that are earning above 70,000, 80,000 will not also be taxed. So there are progressive reforms within the tax reform bill. But I think what should be done, like the Southern lawmakers have talked about, is that there should be further dialogue, there should be further consideration and understanding, so that we can move along and then create an atmosphere of investment to encourage those who are willing to invest in our economy.
All right, Peter, I'm also very curious, in terms of its progressive credentials as piece of legislation, is there any real hope, all things being equal, this will be the silver bulletin for the Nigerian tax system?
Sincerely, it will be, because for the first time in the history since our Fourth Republic, the federal government is supposed to be taking 15% from the general revenue sharing formula. But now the federal government is saying they are transferring their 5% to the state. While the state now earns 35%, the local government remain as it is. So there will be a lot of resources, because we practice federalism, and our federalism seems to be like a unitary structure, where there's so much power concentrated at the center. So with this current tax reform bill, it will create some level of ingenuity, some level of, because our state governors are really not creative. They are not innovative. They are not effective management of public resources. They don't have fiscal responsibility on how to manage resources. So they have become so lazy that all they do is to look at FAC at the end of the month, come to Abuja, share the money, pay salary, and probably keep the rest for their personal use. So that's why we have found out that we have not really had the kind of progress that we need to have when it comes to running our country. So we must do whatever we can as it means as possible as it is, to try to make sure that we have a system that necessary tax, whatever that is necessary, whether for the income tax, for the tariffs, are put in proper perspective, so that it will benefit the economy in a way that will encourage foreign direct investment in our system.
Okay. Last one. I'm just wondering why an economic reform is producing more political reverberations than anything else. But I just want to ask your opinion before I let you go. Where do we see this reform? What progress do we see from here after now?
I want to talk about the heated debate that has come with the tax reform. The heated debate is as a result of the fact that those states who are not generating more into the national purse will earn less. Those states that the derivation, that's why you see that the derivation has been increased in that tax reform to 60%. The derivation before was less than that. So it is not 60%. That means it is what you bring to the national purse that you will get percentage on. Before, it has to, most people like Kanu benefit more when it comes to population. That's why I tell you there are three criteria used to sharing of the money. You have population, you have equality, and then you have derivation. So before, the population will be used and Kanu will get more. In this case, in this current scenario, if you judge by the 70%, there will be reduction in the amount of money that Kanu will get. So, and other states that have population will get. But I think population is an opportunity for, if you have population, you have the capacity to go into progression. You also have the capacity to also consume and to generate resources. So I think they should turn around and use this population as an energy for growth and development. Yes, there are two issues that I feel that should be taken very seriously about the too many reforms that is happening at once. You have done about the electricity tariff, you have removed fuel subsidy, you have done a lot of other reforms that have brought a hard economic hardship to the people, a lot of impulsive and irrational decisions that were not really well thought out, like the tax reform bill. Because if the fuel subsidy removal was well thought out, like we are following the tax reform bill with debate, certainly Nigeria will not be in the current state that we are, because all the necessary inflation that you see
like the push cost inflation that have affected resources, that have affected goods and services, is as a result of the impulsive and irrational removal of fuel subsidy. So we are feeling, most people are feeling, analysts are feeling that they should be able to shift forward and allow Nigerians to be able to adjust properly to the current realities of the harsh economy, and then you now come with another gradual reform. So, but for the North and for the southeastern states, they will be affected, and some other states that will be affected by this tax reform bill. The amount of money that will come into their pocket will be drastically be reduced, and that is what they are actually fighting for, so that we should maintain the old template rather than going into a new template that will reduce the amount of money that will come to them.
All right, Peter, I'm a public policy analyst joining us all the way from the Federal Capital Territory. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this.
Thank you very much.
An absolute pleasure. All right, Nigeria's House of Representatives has instructed the Federal Capital Territory Police Command to suspend the enforcement of a ban on tinted glasses and covered number plate numbers in Abuja, saying that motorists have not been given adequate notice to effect compliance. This followed a resolution passed by lawmakers after a motion of urgent public importance was raised on the floor of the House, where lawmakers sought an extension for car owners. To more stories, the National Safe Schools Project, coordinated by the Nigerian Police Force, has been launched in Plateau State, north-central Nigeria. Governor Caleb Mutfwang, who flagged off the project in Jos, said collaboration among key stake actors must be ensured if credibility and efficiency will be achieved. News Central's Chizoba Anyowe was there for News Central and now completes the report.
To say that violent attacks have had its pound of flesh in the lives of the residents of Plateau State is no longer news. However, several commitments by security agencies and other state actors have seemingly changed the face of Plateau in recent time, with the relative peace achieved. Governor Caleb Mutfwang, represented at the flag-off ceremony, insists that joint effort from all and sundry remains key if the project will see the light of the day.
The key thing here is a three-pronged approach. The security agencies, the government, and the people must join hands together to ensure that we have safer schools for our children to go to school. And if we do not have safe schools and a conducive environment for them to go to school, then our future is doomed. We ourselves will not be secure.
Nigeria's Inspector General of Police is optimistic that education, which is the bedrock of civilization, will not only be achieved, but also the security of children in their various schools.
In recent times, the challenges faced by educational institutions have grown, prompting the government to take decisive action. The initiative is to create a framework that allows children to attend schools without fear, thereby promoting education as a key to national development.
Stakeholders at the event believe that the child's rights law already implemented in Plateau State will be improved upon if this project is given due attention.
On the part of the armed forces, we can only assure you that we are always ready to support the Nigerian police and other security agencies to ensure that our schools are safe.
Today's event, strengthening security resilience and integration of host communities, aligns with the national plan on financing safe school in Nigeria. I want to convey the gratitude of the government and people of Plateau State for the donation of a responder system that 33 of our schools in this state have benefited from the courtesy of the Nigerian police.
With Plateau as one of the pilot states for this project, stakeholders are hopeful that with collaboration among them, schools will indeed be safe and more secure for pupils and students in the country in general. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anyowe.
That was a report beautifully put together on safety for school children in Nigeria. Now, the Freedom Park on Lagos Island came alive with cultural displays and entertainment during Culturati 2024. The annual Festival of Art and Culture, spearheaded by Mr. Idris Aregbe, the special advisor to the Lagos governor on tourism, arts and culture. The event promoted African culture preservation, tourism and economic growth while showcasing the talents of the creative industry to a global audience. The festival also featured exhibitions from over 100 small and medium enterprises and performances. Dignitaries including Ms. Julie McKay of the U.S. Consulate underscored the importance of empowering the youth, preserving Nigeria's cultural heritage, and fostering collaboration in the creative sector.
Mission here in Nigeria is all about preserving and sharing culture. Here in Nigeria, we've invested over $1.2 million to help Nigerians preserve culture. I can talk about how important it is to support the creative industries. I think the creative industries in Nigeria has the potential to be Nigeria's biggest export. And I think the U.S. Consulate also supports the creative industries, especially young people and emerging talent. You know, there's no lack of talent in Nigeria. Sometimes it's a lack of opportunity. And so we certainly support that by training young people in the film industry, because we see the benefits on both sides of the Atlantic.
My advice to youth on preserving Nigerian culture is for them to look more inward. Foreigners are stealing most of our culture, and this culture is what we inherit. The best we can do to it is for us to preserve it.
Coming up, Sudan's military accused of launching airstrikes on marketplace. We have the details after the break. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, election victory celebrations continue in Ghana after the landslide win of the National Democratic Congress NDC candidate John Mahama. In his acceptance speech, the president-elect emphasized the weight of the responsibilities ahead, stating that the work begins immediately. News Central's Bernard Akede, who has been following the developments in Accra, reports on the announcement of the results and what lies ahead for the new administration.
In the light of the above, ladies and gentlemen, I have the singular honor as the returning officer of the 2024 presidential election to declare His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as the winner of the 2024 presidential election.
And with this declaration, John Dramani Mahama officially reclaimed the presidency of Ghana. At his office in Accra, the atmosphere was electric. Jubilant supporters sang and danced as president-elect made his way to deliver his victory speech.
Sisters, it is with tremendous humility that I accept this clear mandate that you, the good people of Ghana, have given me to lead this great nation as your next president.
Also addressing the crowd was his running mate, Jane Nana Okpoku Agyemang. Widely celebrated as a symbol of hope for women across Ghana and Africa, she thanked voters and promised that the new administration would prioritize unity and development.
The victory is for all of us, but especially for our daughters, for our youth, for our women.
While celebrations erupted across the country, the weight of expectation remains high. Political analysts say Ghanaians will be closely watching the NDC's ability to deliver on its promises.
If he is unable to deliver, two scenarios. One, the NDC political party would suffer greatly. That is, if the citizens don't even say we don't want democracy again, the NDC political party would suffer greatly. But if that does not happen, then only a few people would believe in democracy.
As for the ruling party, silence has followed its defeat, but political strategists predict a rebuilding process is already underway.
Now, being opposition, it's time for them to reorganize, time for them to reconnect, and time for them to prove to Ghanaians that, yes, they've regretted, and given the chance, they will be able to reclaim their position. But if they don't do that, if they don't criticize constructively, then I think their party might not survive in the next couple of years.
With the focus now shifting from celebration to governance, the spotlight is firmly on the president-elect, Mahama, and his team as they prepare to take on the challenges of leadership. In Accra for News Central, I'm Bernard Akede.
Meanwhile, police in Ghana have arrested more than 100 people, mostly opposition supporters of President-elect John Mahama, over acts of lawlessness. Supporters of the newly elected president who want jobs have allegedly attacked some state institutions, looted properties, and engaged in disturbances that have left some police and military personnel injured. The irate supporters also charged 2 Electoral Commission officers due to a delay in announcing the outcome of Saturday's elections and disagreement over some parliamentary results. Mahama has condemned the vandalism and called on President Nana Akufo-Addo and security agencies to act decisively in addressing the violence. The police have warned all individuals and groups engaging in violence, saying they will not tolerate any form of lawlessness. Now, Sudan's military has been accused of carrying out an airstrike on a marketplace in the western region of Darfur, in which more than 100 people were reportedly killed. The emergency lawyers' rights group described the bombing in Kabyabia town on Monday, the weekly market day, as a horrific massacre. Clashes have intensified in different parts of Sudan in recent weeks between the army and its former ally, the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF. Both sides deny carrying out war crimes during their 19-month power struggle that has caused the world's biggest humanitarian crisis and forced more than 11 million people from their homes. According to emergency lawyers, the airstrike happened as residents from nearby villages came to shop in Kabyabia, about 180 kilometers west of El Fasher, the only city still under military control in Darfur and which has been under siege since April. Still to come, suspected American CEO killer fights extradition to face murder charge in New York. Stay with us. And out to stories outside the African continent, Luigi Mangione, the 26-year-old suspect in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, is resisting extradition to New York, where he faces a murder charge. Mangione appeared in a Pennsylvania court on Tuesday, where he was denied bail. As he entered the courtroom, he yelled at reporters, saying, "It's completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people. It's a lived experience." Mangione was arrested on Monday at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, after an employee tipped off the police. He was found with multiple fake IDs and a 3D printed gun with a suppressor. And to some business stories, the Bank Directors Association of Nigeria, BDAN, has called for continued open dialogue and collaboration with the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee regarding the proposed tax reform bills. At a meeting on Tuesday with the committee's chairman, Taiwo Oyedele, BDAN, led by Mustapha Chike-Obi, discussed the Nigeria Tax Bill and the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill 2024. The association emphasized the need to ensure these reforms address fiscal inefficiencies while bolstering the banking sector's competitiveness. BDAN commended the committee's dedication to tackling Nigeria's fiscal challenges and highlighted the potential of the reforms to build a more resilient and efficient economy. South Africa's Electricity and Energy Minister, Kosiyenso Ramaphosa, is courting investors in Japan to fund green hydrogen project aimed at manufacturing hydrogen and ammonia from renewable energy. Ramaphosa's 3-day visit, which began on Monday, is part of his ongoing efforts to secure international partnerships for sustainable energy development, following a similar trip to Qatar last month. During his visit, he plans to meet with major financial institutions and trading companies, including Mitsui & Co. and Itochu Corp, with South Africa's grid stabilization easing power cuts since March. Ramaphosa is focused on diversifying energy sources, especially as the country gradually shifts from coal reliance to cleaner alternatives. Still talking business, the African Development Bank, AFDB, has mobilized $2.2 billion to support the second phase of Nigeria's Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones SIBS initiative. This commitment was announced at the Africa Investment Forum in Morocco, with Nigerian state governors, multilateral development organizations, diplomats, and private sector leaders expressing strong support. The new funding, which builds on the success of the initiative's first phase, aims to enhance agricultural infrastructure and strengthen federal-state partnerships. Key investors involved in the funding include RISE IIP, the Arab Bank of Economic Development in Africa, Africa Export-Import Bank, Sahara Farms, BPI Funds, Africa 50, and the U.S. Development Finance Corporations. To sports now, Serie A club Udinese have announced that Super Eagles goalkeeper Maduka Okoye has successfully undergone surgery. The Nigeria international sustained a wrist injury in the Zebras League clash against Genoa last week. The operation, according to the Udinese, was conducted in a clinic in Milan, and Okoye is now expected to start his rehabilitation, in which will be sidelined for weeks. The 24-year-old established himself as Udinese's first-choice goalkeeper in the second half of last season, where he played a crucial role in the club's Serie A survival in the 2023/2024 campaign. He has made 14 league appearances for the club this season. Still talking sports, Mo Salah scored a crucial penalty to help Liverpool secure a 1-0 win against Girona in the UEFA Champions League, keeping their perfect record in the group stage. This goal was his 50th in the Champions League, a milestone he reached with Liverpool, Roma and Basel. It also marked his 6th penalty goal in the competition, tying him with Liverpool legend Steven Gerrard. Salah's penalty helped Liverpool stay at the top of the group. This season, Salah has been in amazing form with 28 goal contributions, leading all players in Europe's top 5 leagues. His ability to step up in key moments makes him a vital part of Liverpool's success. Still in sports, tennis legend Neil Fraser, who passed away aged 91, will be honored with a state funeral in Melbourne on the 18th of December for his incredible legacy. The former world #1 Fraser won 19 Grand Slam titles, including 3 major singles titles and 16 Grand Slam doubles crowns. He was especially known for his 1960 Wimbledon victory and his 1959 success in sweeping all 3 U.S. titles at Forest Hills. Fraser also led Australia to Davis Cup triumphs and was a beloved figure in tennis, inspiring generations of players and fans. His dedication to the sport and his country left an indelible mark on tennis history. Well, that's all on the news at this hour, but before we go, let's take another look at some of our major stories. We did tell you that police arrested 3 suspects with 129 billion naira fake currencies in Kano. We also mentioned Nigeria's Ademola Adeyemi-Bero emerges chairman of OPEC Board of Governors. And finally, we told you that dozens of President-elect supporters arrested in post-election violence. You can watch News Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings for Sugu.